Welcome back to the 2 Months Podcast presented by Pete's Concrete. I'm your host, Joshua Marshall, and we are back with our roundtable, and we have a very special guest, and we'll get to our very special guest as we intro all the other mutts. So we have Clay Vanderham. Vandy, how's it going?
Vandy is dandy. I am in beautiful Bonnyville, Alberta. Uh, Ate at the local Mr. Mike's for dinner and watched a little U11, I think it was, lacrosse as I walked by the I think it's called the Sonova Center. I could be wrong. People from Bonnyville are gonna kill me. And hockey betting right now is so easy when teams are down, especially teams like Colorado. I'm about to nail the Colorado money line with Makar over 2 points and McKinnon to score. So that's a big bet too. So yeah, things are good.
There you go. There you go. And we have AKA the closers. We got Brody McIntyre. Closer, how's it going?
Good, buddy. Life's good. I had a good day at work today. I went on the ice with the kids for academy, so it's a solid day today. Good day. Now I've got the hockey on in the background. We got Madison on the iPad here, so life's good.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. And he is back with us. The last time Rupper was on was when Paul Bissonnette's on, and everyone now knows Rupper will only join us on special occasions now, and this is a special occasion. But Rupper, how's it going? What's going on?
Good, buddy. It's good to be back. Just kind of the last 2 months have been a whirlwind with hockey and the boys. Brody probably talked about that last pod, and with Alberta Cup and Luke and a bunch of his teammates went off to Philly for a tournament, and then you come right back and you're into the WHL draft. So it's just been an absolute whirlwind, and trying to get my grass all settled in the back to get it nice and green, and really haven't had a lot of time. But fired out there about 5:30 today, got the power rake on there, and God bless some rain and a little love and care, and she'll be where I need it to be.
There you go. All right, thanks, Rupper, for that. And our very special guest, this is our first time doing a podcast and the first time on our podcast, hopefully for more occasions. But it's been probably a crazy 48 hours for her in the last few days. But we'd like to welcome Madison North to a 2 Months Podcast. Madison, how's it going?
Oh, I'm great. Happy to be here. And yeah, it's been a pretty crazy 48 hours over here.
Yeah. Can you kind of explain kind of what you've been going through? I guess your phone's probably been blowing up and a lot has happened, but can you explain, obviously, for some of the listeners that don't know, Madison was at the Oilers game 3, was a big win by the Canucks, but obviously a tight battle in it, as it has been. It's a 1-goal series, but she was just a fan just behind the bench, and kind of just somewhat went viral in a way, and in a good way, and getting some good positive thoughts and feedback from that, and just the experience. Like you were saying before we hit record, you usually just go to games and you're just wearing a jersey, but that night you're just an hour before the game, you got the notice you're going to the game. I guess we can kind of explain to listeners what you've been going through. You're just trying to go enjoy a good playoff game and cheer on your team, which you have been through to some other games throughout the playoffs too.
Yeah, I have. I've been to quite a few games, but it just started off as a normal Mother's Day. I was having a good day, went to brunch. My mom was in town from California, and then an hour before the game, I got told we were going. I got ready as quick as I could, rushed out the door, thought we were going to be late, and had no idea where we were sitting. I had so many people be like, "You planned this?" This was her game. I'm like, well, if I planned it, I maybe would have had my hair done a bit, but we got there and I wasn't sure where we were sitting. We ended up walking down, and as we keep going down the stairs, I'm like, whoa, we're getting really close to the front. And yeah, we were right behind the bench, and the game started. And I would say as soon as it started, my phone, I could feel it in my purse. It just was vibrating. So I pull it out and I'm, oh my gosh, I seen you on TV. Are you at the game? And I'm from the States. So I had friends there being like, super crazy question, but what are the chances you're at the Oilers game? Like, I am.
That's pretty
You're from
sweet.
Texas?
No, I'm from California.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Why
Yeah.
would you come here from California?
My dad's from here, so I'm from Madison.
Okay.
So I for about 15 years.
That's a good reason.
There you go.
Yeah,
There you
never went back.
go. So where's your love for hockey started? Was it back in California? Did you go to a lot of games at Staples Center and watch the LA Kings play, or the Oilers your team, or like where's your like obviously you're an Oilers fan now probably.
Yeah. It started actually when I was young. My dad has been playing hockey his whole life, and he taught my brother his whole life. So I was always dragged around. He was the coach of the team, so I was at every game, every practice. I was sitting on the benches by myself since I was so little, cheering them on. And my dad actually used to hang out with Paul Coffey back in the day.
Okay.
In Toronto.
Nice.
In the 80s, he was with Wayne Gretzky a couple times, and Wayne Gretzky's son used to play against my brother in Santa Barbara.
Okay.
So I've always been around it. I've always loved it. And when I moved here, well, everyone loves hockey here even more. So we used to go to games all the time, and now I take my kid to games, and
Nice.
I've just always loved it.
Yeah. Rupper, do you have any questions?
Well, Madison, this is probably the first time on this podcast I've been tongue-tied, because this is truly an episode of Beauty and the Beasts. You talk about you have some sons. How many sons do you have?
I have one son. I have a 9-year-old son, and
Yeah.
I have a 6-year-old daughter, and then I have a 9-month-old daughter.
Oh, nice.
What the
Are they involved in any sports? Like, are you getting your son involved in hockey?
Yeah, he played for the last couple of years. He took this year off, and then hopefully going back next year.
Oh, nice. Whereabouts was he playing?
He was playing over in Manning area, so out of the rec center there.
Nice.
Oh, he's a Northeast.
cool.
He's an MLAC kid.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like,
Yes, he's an MLAC kid.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
get him in.
there you go.
He
Vandy,
does love.
Good.
go ahead, Madison. Sorry, I cut you off there. Go ahead.
Oh no, he loves it. I was in big trouble this year for not enrolling him, but I was really pregnant. I'm like, I can't commit to all the games and everything this year. So
Yeah, it's been busy for sure. Vandy, you got any questions there?
No. So your brother played hockey in California?
yeah, he did. He still does. He's still in California. He lived here and he played for sorry, I can't even think of the high
It's all good.
here. He played for a high school here though. It's downtown. If that helps at all. It's a hockey academy.
Right.
Vimy.
No, not Jimmy. Saint.
St. Francis? No, would that be?
NAX? Anyway.
What?
He doesn't know.
NAX?
Yeah.
I don't remember, but yeah,
Yeah,
he
all
did
good.
play, and now he's still playing. 34, but he plays for just like community
Beer-
leagues there.
Beer league.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's pretty sweet. Closer, you have anything there you want to ask?
Yeah. So the girl or the woman in Texas, she's now behind the seems like behind the bench every game. Have you been offered tickets now to sit behind the bench every night?
No, I haven't. I mean, that would
What?
be. I would take them, but I haven't been offered any tickets. No, I have heard that she is at every game.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought the same thing would happen to you. I'm sure it will. Just a matter of time.
Yes.
Yeah. She. I heard that there's a guy there tonight dressed up in a wig.
There
Oh, in the
is.
Dallas game.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, she's not at the game tonight. I know that. So
Oh, okay.
I did share like what Madison the other night. She was at the other game and She did message me back saying that's awesome. It's pretty sweet. So she says maybe one day she'll end up meeting you. And that's when she was just like, Oilers Stars conference final. Maybe there's a meetup in either one of the states.
There you go.
There. So could definitely see how that goes for sure. But I'm going to take Madison and her son to the Oilers and Canucks practice on Saturday. So,
Nice.
introduce her to some players and some of the media members, and yeah, maybe that offer that you were saying, closer, they'll offer her some tickets going forward into the playoff run here.
Wicked.
That'd be wild.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. Are you looking forward to that more at practice and morning skate with your son, Madison?
Yeah, it'll be so fun. I told him he's really excited. I think it's a great opportunity and something I didn't think we would ever do. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah. And we try to like add the positive vibes to this, right? Like it's just kind of a cool, fun thing. And, you know, they kind of come back to like where we first asked you the question, like, how, I know you were kind of saying today, maybe it's kind of died down a little bit, but has, you know, your phone kind of less active now, or, and how did you feel when I guess when you were getting all the text messages and phone calls and all that too?
I was pretty surprised. I didn't think that we would be on TV as much as we were. I mean, I watched the game last night. They don't really show behind the bench as much. So I was pretty shocked that we were on it as much as we were. It started off fun. My friends were all messaging me. My dad was calling. My mom was watching. My brother. And then it kind of took a big turn. I was reading comments. I'm like, okay, I guess I have a long neck. I was getting called a giraffe quite a bit.
What?
That's stupid.
Yeah.
That's stupid online stuff.
Who the fuck is doing that?
Oh, yeah, the comments are pretty crazy. I was trying not to take it too personal, but I mean, I guess that's what happens. Everyone sits behind a keyboard and can say whatever they want, but
yeah, that's the unfortunate part of the whole social media side. That yeah, you're right, Vandy. It is, they are goofs. You know, like don't believe any of that stuff. I hope you don't. It's hard, as we always say, we're human, so we try not to read into that stuff. But you know,
did you go to high school here?
I did. I moved here summer going into grade 10, and I went to Beaumont Comp.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, I went to Beaumont, and that's where I graduated from.
There you go.
Nice.
And
you still live out there?
But yeah, it has died down. What was that?
Oh, it might have cut out there.
You still live out there? I think is what.
No, I don't. I now.
Nice.
Cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's that I think was that Brody's Wi-Fi. So
I got teenagers, man. They're on their phones.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm in a hotel, so that's my excuse.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I'm the north side, so that's my excuse. So no, it's yeah, obviously a pretty cool thing, and obviously and then any plans to kind of go to some other games going forward with some of your girlfriends and friends and all that too? Are you looking forward to kind of, you know, this long playoff run that it looked like this team's going to have here?
Yeah, I hope that they're able to keep it up. Last night's game was great, and I would love to go back to more. We were kind of looking at tickets for the Vancouver game, but I don't think that we'll make it there for Thursday. So it'd be fun to go on Saturday, but just kind of a hit or miss. The tickets get pretty pricey, but it's always a really fun experience to be able to go.
Yeah, they get more and more as the season goes on, for sure, as the series go on and all that. So any of your favorite players that you you know, watch on this team, any guys that are interested that you know, are in the kind of style that they play? And obviously a pretty cool story in Calvin Picker coming in for his first start was kind of pretty cool to see that last night too, I would assume, and kind of fighting through some probably you know, perseverance and dedication to the game, and just, you know, really stepping up for his team. I guess in your mind, like, how cool was that to kind of see the team kind of you know, rally around a pretty good story?
It was great. I really enjoyed watching him play. He did amazing. And for me, I think being a mom, I kept seeing his parents up there, and I'm like, oh,
right.
It tugged at my heart. I'm like, wow, what a proud moment as a parent to be able to watch your kid win and play such a great game.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. You guys have any other questions for Madison before we let her go here?
No, I'm good, buddy.
Yeah. Vandy?
Yeah, no, I'm good. Yeah, it's exciting, and especially for your kids to experience what Josh is going to do tomorrow. I know my two boys did that a couple, well, what was it, a year ago maybe, and it's exciting. So yeah,
Right on.
I hope he enjoys it, and I hope you guys get out to another game. It'll be fun.
I hope you go viral and you get tickets to every game.
Right.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I
Will
bet
say-
you happen.
Listen, I'm
Well-
telling you, if Edmonton and Dallas make it, it's going to be like Nat G, Madison. Like, I'm telling it, just hold tight there, because
Yeah.
if we can do it, Dallas is going to walk over Colorado next game.
Yeah.
Thankfully, not this game, but if it goes Edmonton, Dallas like this, just be prepared. Prepare yourself. Prepare your fan. I'm telling, it'll blow up, man.
Yeah.
Because all the reporters, they're going to quit talking. Unfortunately, they're going to quit talking about hockey for a bit, or they're going to get tired of talking about Ben versus McDavid, this, that, the other thing, and then they're going to have side stories and shit, and like, just be prepared. It may happen.
And enjoy it. It's pretty cool.
Exactly. Right?
It is, but I will say those seats are hard to see.
They're
Yeah.
fucking terrible, Madison.
Awful. I
They
was
are.
like looking at my phone, and then the screen is pretty slanted, so even to
Mhm.
see, I'm like, my neck was killing me. I'm trying to look up. I couldn't see anything.
You're looking at Knobloch's ass the whole game. Like, you
Yeah,
can't. I don't know how you can see anything.
They're not the best seats either.
They're awful.
Yeah.
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 More so
Pretty
than
cool
here.
experience though. Can you hear the players talking?
No, you can see their mouths, but you can't really hear anything.
Rupper, you have any questions before we sign out
Maybe-
with
What,
Madison?
you know what? It'd be awesome if you were on the bench when like Marner, Nylander, and Matthews were going at it with each other. Because if you can read lips, you can see that they're whining and leaf
Yeah.
stuff.
Always with the Leaf jab, eh, Vandy? So I'm a Leaf fan, Madison. That's why they always give me the gears as possibly I can. So, but anyways, yeah, Rupper, you have any questions before we sign out here with Madison?
No, Madison, it was a pleasure to have you on, and like Brody says, just enjoy the stuff that's going on around you, and
Don't read
I
the
love that
comments.
don't read the comments.
They're just jealous.
Um,
That's why. So
Exactly, 100%. And I love that you love the game, and I love that you're getting your kids involved in the game too, and that's at the end of the day what it's all about.
thank you so much, Madison, for joining us. Anything you want to say before we let you go?
No, I really appreciate your guys' time and meeting you all, and I'm looking forward to Saturday.
Yeah, it's gonna be
We'll
a lot.
get
Of
you
fun.
on when Edmonton, Dallas.
Yes, we'll
Okay.
we'll get you
Sounds
back on
good.
then. We'll get your analysis for the conference final. So, all right, thank you. Take care and have a
Okay.
good one.
Thank you
See you
guys.
later.
Have a good
Yeah, great, great, Madison, for joining us. That was pretty sweet, eh, guys? It's pretty nice of her.
Really
Yeah.
good.
Like Rupper said, like as we finished the interview, very humble person, very humble, right, Rupper?
Yeah, very humble, very beautiful. Like I said, it's the kind of the first time where the words I didn't want to stick my foot in my mouth with anything.
You couldn't even talk, Rupper. It's like you were
Hey.
7 years old all over again. Oh, Horny,
That's-
14-year-old.
That's maturity.
Yeah. Growth. Oh, growth.
growth and maturity
Hey.
at the same time.
1996 Rupper would have handled that a little bit different than 2024 Rupper. I'll tell you that right now.
That's hilarious. That was good. Very nice of her, and yeah, definitely looking forward to getting her and her son at the morning skate for the Game 6 Oilers versus Canucks, and big Game 4 last night as the series is tied, going back to Vancouver. We've already got a lot of thoughts throughout the series with Brody and with Brody and Vandy. Rupper here. So we're gonna kind of go to your thoughts here and where you're at with this series. Obviously, storylines continue with Pickard and net, and obviously he's probably going to start the next game Carson Susie comes back. But Rick Tocchet calling out his team, kind of where you're at. We'll get to this series and we'll break down some other things as we go on. But your initial thoughts on what you've seen so far from the Edmonton Oilers and the Vancouver Canucks.
Well, it's a great series so far. Good for Pickard coming in. I thought he played unbelievable. The goals against them were honestly two, plays that they just put pucks on the net and they went off guys. So you can't fault him for that. And, Skinner, I've been watching the media and listening to the media a little bit and, going online and everybody's on him. But the Oilers just weren't good defensively. I'm sorry. There was too many turnovers. They played a better game last night, but I still need to see some emotion from this team. Your captain gets, cross-checked in the face and cross-checked from behind, and there's absolutely zero response. Like, there should have been a bench clearing brawl after that. This is the playoffs. That's the best player in the league. And even I'm texting my buddies. I'm like, if I don't see a response to that first shift, then I honestly think the Oilers are done. And I'm not being negative about that. I just feel there's no emotion. Like, how many hits are there being thrown? Like, Kane, yeah, he came out last night, but we're talking game 4. Like, you got to do that for 16 straight games, and you got to send messages, and we're going to be tough to play against. And I just, like I said, I'm not trying to be negative. I look at it in a different way, and that's the way I look at it. And if Kane takes that, or who took the first penalty? Was it Kane?
Darnell Nurse.
Darnell Nurse. Like, I mean, grab a guy off the draw, be the instigator, and take 2 minutes there. Send a message that we're not going to stand for that. Like, you can talk about the cross checks going back and forth all game. It's just part of the game. But to me, there's zero emotion coming from that team right now that shows me that they want to win a Stanley Cup.
So do you think the contrast in coaching, where Tocchet comes out yesterday, calls 7 guys out, didn't name them, but you can look at the stat sheet and know who they are. Do you think that has an impact on the room? Like, where
I don't know. Like, I guess we'll find out Thursday. We'll find out tomorrow and see what kind of response those guys have. But all I'm saying is, I get it. The game's different. Guys don't end up in the box, but it's playoff hockey time, and any one of us, and there's probably, a million other people out there that would say that happens to your captain and the best player in the league. You're jumping the bench and you're sending a message at the end of that game. Suspensions, whatever happens, it doesn't matter at this point, because the end goal is to win a Stanley Cup.
So there's this, like Brody was on with us years back with Anthony Stewart, and Anthony Stewart's his father's line, and Chris Stewart, obviously, both of them played in the National Hockey League. Are you a team or are you a club? That saying is always kind of thrown out there in situations like this. So are the Oilers a team or are they a club? In terms of this, and we'll see what they are. Like, I know we're kind of somewhat criticizing. You're not wrong. Like, we talked about it last episode. Darnell Nurse went 1 hit in his last, up until before game 2 started. Darnell Nurse had 1 hit in 5 playoff games. That's unacceptable for a guy that's at his size, at his stature, how much ice time he has, to have pretty much no hits, along with no hits by CC, no hits by Desharnais, and no hits by Kulak in that. So, you're not being physical enough in terms of that.
No. And I'm not criticizing them.
No, right? I know you're not, but it's like you would want.
This is just my opinion. My opinion is that if that cannot happen, you cannot have your best player take. I understand he slashed the guy. That's part of the game too. So if you're gonna say that warrants what happened at the end of the game, then whatever. It's part of the game. But then the part of the game too is stepping up and having a response to that, whether it's grabbing Peterson or grabbing Hughes. Like, I had guys texting me going, "Oh well, they did do something. They did absolutely nothing. What? Bouchard goes in there and hugs the guy to death and grab like that's nothing. Like that little scrum at the end was nothing to me.
But that
And,
goes
and
back to like last year though too. Is like Pietrangelo. There was no retribution paid to Pietrangelo for the slash on Draisaitl last year playoffs and in the regular season.
Well, I would hope my rebuttal was going to be. I hope that they're not doing that because they're smart. They want to win the series, and they'll go back and get them later in life. Like you see, hockey players have long memories, right? They're going to go back and get them.
sure.
The famous Pat Quinn story, right? Where he
Yeah, right. It's something like November 14th next year, and on a Thursday night, they're going to get them.
Pat Quinn, I
Sure.
think 10 years later after he got, was it Stan Schmiel that hit him or whatever? But yeah, you're not wrong. I don't know. We're like Vandy, your kind of thoughts on what you've seen. You're obviously like that physical side of hockey.
I'm of the Rupp ilk. Here's what I'm a coach guy. I love the coaches. But if I'm going 11-7, I'm telling fucking 73 or 25. You're lining up as a left winger. You're going right after fucking Zadorov, and because you'll know whoever it is. Maybe off the top face up. Maybe I'm grabbing Garland. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm breaking every tooth and every nose, every bone in his nose. And I'm sending a message like, you're going to come after our guy. We're going after Garland's their guy right now.
So what if he means taking a 5-minute penalty and they're down 2-0?
Whatever. Kill it.
What?
The team will kill it.
Goldberg took warm up last night. He was going to play because that.
I don't know that. But again, that's the old style of thinking. That's the old style of thinking.
Zekholm's banged up.
That's what I would do. Because listen, you got to think of the coach that you're going against as well. Because he's in that room saying, you want Vancouver, and I get it, Edmonton has the puck, and there's this new analytic that comes out that it's no longer hits really don't matter. Hits mean that you don't have the puck. And that's, I don't know, to me that I watch every time. It's a 4-1,000 series. You got 4 seconds, you're getting hit. Maybe not that. That's a little bit of an exaggeration, but Vancouver is finishing their checks. They're wearing Edmonton down, knowing that this is probably going to go 7 games. So it's the games within the games. And to me, I agree with Rupp. I would dress 11-7. You're gonna play Connor, Leon, Zach, Ryan. I'm calling them by their first name, like I know them, but like go 11-7 and get Desharnais or Broberg. Let's see, whoever Stetcher. Look, you don't play. You don't think Troy Stetcher will go out there and drop the bomb with somebody and tell him to grab Garland? Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'm being ridiculous, but I don't know. That's what
I don't think you're. Yeah, I don't think you're being ridiculous at all, man. This is playoffs. You do what it takes to win the Stanley Cup. End of story.
Because Rick talking.
I think you can only do it if if the game's over. I don't think you can do it 0-0, 2-1, 3-2, whatever it is. You got to pick your spot.
I do it 0-0. Drop the puck. Drop the puck. This is where I'm sending.
Whether it's lose 3-0 and Darnell Nurse is the GOAT, or he's the villain because he's he punched the guy in the face.
He's the villain anyway.
Well, you know what I mean? But
he's a whipping boy, right?
Listen. At the end of the day, we can debate that all we want. The Oilers need to be better 5-on-5, and they need more secondary scoring from the bottom 6.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. It's dried up somehow, and it is what it is. But Connor and these guys can't play 30 minutes a night. You can't do that for 16 games, man. I'm telling you, you cannot.
Yeah,
it's the same old thing. It's the same old thing. Then it almost feels like we're going back to how it was, COVID in the bubble, where we're playing Leon and Connor together to get a goal because we're behind, right? And it's a very easy shutdown. Because there's nothing coming out. Like, yeah, Nuge scored last night, but where's he been? Where's Fogle been? Where's McLeod been? And I love these guys, and I'm an Oilers
Who's McLeod?
fan,
Is he playing?
Yeah,
Well, that's what I mean, right?
yeah,
Like,
he's very
you know,
but that's not shocking. That's been like that for his whole career. Every time he gets,
Yeah.
you always get that. Like, and I agree
I'm
that.
not, I'm not out. Sorry, Bosco. I'm still going here.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
I'm getting back. I'm on the Rouge again, and I'm getting back in my thoughts of last night. It's just I need to see more urgency from this club, if that makes sense. And I'm not just talking about your top guys. I'm talking about your bottom guys. And I know there's little things that they might be doing, winning games, getting pucks out, but they got to relieve some of the ice time and the minutes that the big guys are eating up. They have
They
to.
did a better job yesterday with having the split up, I think.
Agreed.
Yeah, they did a better job.
I agree.
I don't
too,
think Leon's
right?
as hurt as we're thinking, right? Either. So maybe
I think he's fine.
Yeah, I think he's fine. Ekholm sounds like it's a little bit more serious, but you're gonna have to take a body part off him for not to be in the lineup at the end of the day.
It's the playoffs. You play with injuries.
Yep.
And
If I go back to what Rupper said about 5 minutes ago, the no hits, you think about who they played. They played LA. They just sat back in the neutral zone, or they sent the puck 80% of the time. Tonight, like the Vancouver series, they're literally just playing like a box PK with a centerman kind of roving around the outskirts of the wall, right? Just goes out to the dot lane and retreats back. They're letting the Oilers have the puck. Of course, they have no hits. They have the puck. Like that game yesterday, there's a 5-minute window, give or take, in the second period where Vancouver took it to the Oilers, and then I don't know, 3-minute window in the third where they took it to the Oilers. So say 10 minutes at the very, very most. The Oilers had the puck for 50 minutes of the game. Of course they're not hitting anybody. They have the puck the whole time.
Yeah.
I know that's a bit of an excuse, but that's also the truth. And it goes back to the LA series as well. I think, Rupper. Sorry, pal.
Well, you don't have to apologize. I just like if we get on the forecheck, finish a check. If a
100%.
guy's coming out the ice, finish the check. I just that's more maybe my era growing up too. And I realize that we're playing in a different game and we're a different era and a different league now. So, but man, I see other teams that are playing now that are playing, that old style, getting pucks deep and banging bodies and wearing them out. And I don't know. It's gonna go 7, I think, and we'll see who comes out on top.
I'm going to game 6.
You'll be there.
I'll be there.
And so obviously in the group chat, you're very bullish closer on Dylan Holloway. When do the points start for him right now too? Do you think that you kind of need to see a little bit more? I think he added a different complexion being on that line with Draisaitl and Kane last night and creating space for the opposition with his speed. Creating space for his teammates and backing off the Canucks for the speed that he had. But how soon do you think he needs to start producing at 5-on-5 here? Because obviously he doesn't get a lot of power play time too. But I
don't think he needs to. I think the odd one goes in here and there, and it is what it is. I'm just thinking next year and the year down. I see his speed. I see his hands. Seems like he thinks the game pretty well. And the biggest thing I think I see is his physicality, the way he's able to. A guy comes to bump and he reverse checks him, or he just is able to use his body to not give the puck away. And I think that's going to be a huge skill. I didn't know he seems like he's a man already, right? He's thick enough. And I just, from the limited ice he's playing, every time he's on the ice, I see, oh man, he did something positive. So
yeah,
I think he's going to be an excellent top 6 forward.
He's progressing into that for sure right now. So
yeah,
he's doing really
well. I know. I know when he went back down to Bakersfield that the skills guys were working on him on, just that kind of stuff, creating space for himself, being a little bit tougher on the puck, the reverse hits. And I can see, I've said this for years and Clay, I talked to Clay about this before and I'm going to go off topic a little bit here, but I don't see enough urgency when guys get called up to want to stay up, if that makes sense. I see, a guy getting called up and, he's going to get third or fourth line minutes and he's just going to go through the motions and try to not make any mistakes. And play a normal game. What I don't see these days from kids that are getting called up, and you can take Matt Rempe, and you guys have probably talked about this in previous podcasts as I wasn't on, but that guy was like, I'm sick of eating Subway. I want to eat steaks, and I want to do whatever it takes to stay in this league. And if that's me going out playing, 4 or 5 meters over the edge, then that's what it's going to take. If it's going to take me dropping gloves, and now that guy's the king in New York, like he literally probably cannot walk down the street. So I see that in Holloway where, this is the last time he wants to go down. He's worked on his game. He's humble. Like, yeah, okay. Now what do I got to do to be in this lineup every single night? And that's just, I've seen that over the last couple years. And Clay and I coached a couple kids that, I ended up watching. I'm not going to say names or anything like that, but when I'm watching them play, I'm like, you're not doing anything to stand out. You're not doing anything. Yeah, I get it. You're on the third and fourth line, but go win face-offs. Go hit. Go block a shot. Like, just don't go through the motions and wanna, just not make a mistake. Making mistakes is part of the game, but if you're gonna go out there and make a mistake, go out there and make a mistake, but mask it or hide it with 3 hits a shift or the hardest back check you've ever seen or putting your face in front of a puck. That's just, and I noticed that with Holloway. I just don't think he wants to go back down.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he definitely talked about that with one of his interviews with Gene Princevay, where he scored 2 goals in the LA series. He talked about how disappointing it was, and that's something he didn't want to have happen again for him. But more or less, I think that was a salary cap, problem at that time. And then, he's had some injuries along the way too that have hindered, the process of him being here. But he's definitely a player they've now utilized, and the depth is being tested right now. And I guess the biggest thing we haven't talked about, we've gone on for a bit here, is how concerning is it with, Stuart Skinner not probably going to play another game in the playoffs here right now. And you got to go with Pickard, or maybe Skinner plays again down the road. I don't know, but obviously it seems like everything's in the basket for Pickard. Isn't that true, Vandy?
Let's turn it around and talk about Pickard. Like, how happy that fucking team was. And none of us, media, anything, none of us are in that room other than the 20 guys, the coaches, management. None of us know what's going on. And last night proved it, where this team is a lot tighter than I think everybody thinks they are, or whatever, inner fighting. Yeah, there's this, that, the other thing. How jovial the players were for Calvin Pickard was incredible.
Yeah.
And then, I think it showed too. And yeah, probably wasn't the cleanest game the Oil played, but they were doing a lot more than I think they were for Skinner. And as a team, when you got a goalie like Skinner, maybe you tend to take nights off, and you tend to maybe rely on him more than you probably should, and your defensive structure gets lackadaisical. But the way they performed in front of him, and then what the Oil got yesterday that they weren't getting in the first 3 games was they were getting just timely saves. He wasn't spectacular. He didn't make Dominic Hasek, pad stackers. Mm-hmm. He made solid saves, and that's it. And when the 2 goals they got, yeah, okay, what can you do? You got Besser, who's a goal scorer, just putting the puck on net. But they were there for, I think Knobloch said it, they were there for 60 minutes, and that's it.
Yeah.
And they did it. And Pickard gave him 60 minutes. We'll see what happens tomorrow night. I don't see why you don't give Pickard another shot. I said Skinner should go.
Me too.
Shows, yeah, I think we both did, and it shows how much we know about hockey. But
I think the fact that he was in question, he didn't give.
Sorry, not about hockey, but how much we know about that team.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let me rephrase that.
Yeah.
It shows how much we know about that team. we don't know shit.
Well, at the end of the day,
Don't know shit. Nobody knows shit.
at the end of the day,
Everybody was saying that Skinner should go.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, I thought Pickard was. I think I said on there Pickard was going.
you did.
I did, yeah.
Yes.
So, Rupper, your thoughts on kind of this situation, but like, how is it cup or bust for this team right now, Rupper? Like, is it really the pressure really on to get a cup this year?
Of course.
Well, I mean, it's probably cup or bust for every team every single year. But I think when you got your, 97 and 29 on year 7 or 8 of their contracts, that yeah, I think it is. But going back to the Pickard Skinner situation, Pickard played a great game last night and he stepped up when he needed to step up. But I'm not faulting Skinner in any of this. I mean, I said it before. The Oilers' defensive zone, the first 3 games, wasn't very good. I mean, Besser had a natural hat trick called back. I think it was his second goal that he was right in the soft spot on the dot lane there, and who's got that guy? Like that cannot happen.
But
that was McDavid's guy.
That happened last night too, but it was Teddy Bluger. Teddy Bluger versus Brock Besser's two different, but Bluger
Sure.
the same spot.
Right. So when I look at the goals that maybe there's 1 or 2 he should have had, and I'm not going to debate that or get into an argument about it, but defensively, when you're turning pucks over and you're not covering a man in that zone, these are professional hockey players they're going to put in the back of the net. The time and space has to be limited. And if it's not, then this is what's going to happen. I think Pickard should start again. Why would you mess with something going after a win? But at the end of the day, let's just be thankful they got 2 goalies that they can go back and forth with.
Yeah, Stauffer.
What happens? How does Pickard lose the net? How does Skinner get back in? If they lose 3-2 tomorrow and he plays okay, is it Skinner back in? Or does he need to lose 6-1 and let in 3 muffins? Or is it his net the rest of the way?
At the end of the day, your number 1 is your number 1.
So you're going back to Skinner.
Yeah. At the end of the day, your number 1. If Pickard wins them this series, at the end of the day, Skinner's gonna. And I don't know. That's me. Maybe what the fuck do I? But to me, your number 1 is always your number 1.
Have a little
So as a head coach,
and not to interrupt, guys. Like, I'm not trying to be, just trying to be as best as I can possibly say. Like, there's legit NHL executives that listen to this podcast. Like, we have a following. Like, be okay to be confident in what you say. Like Vandy, the game, you coach the game, you play.
I'm telling you. I mean,
you guys
coaches
understand this game better than
as a head coach. For me, we went through this one year. We had a number 1, and we went against KC, and KC in mid AA, and I get it, whatever, call what you will. We had our number 1, and he shit the bed in the first period, and we had to throw our backup in, and our backup stole the game. We ended up coming back and winning the game 4-3. Okay.
Yeah.
But come provincials, we won cities after that series. Come provincials, there was no doubt in my mind who number 1 was. And I was going straight to that player, to that goalie. So, I mean, I do think, and I said this when we first started. I don't understand why the NHL or why professional hockey or why elite hockey has this 1-1-1-2 mentality. I mean, why can't you have 2 good goalies and just rotate them like Boston, what they're doing? Why can't you go?
Well, they're not rotating now. Allmark's.
Well, they are out of desperation, but I mean, it's why not give your starter a break? Because at the end of the day, in playoffs, it's amplified more than it was. And I've heard Grant Fuhr talk on Kevin Carey's show. I mean, it's amplified more than it was back in the 80s and 90s. Social media plays a part in family, wherever, blah, blah, blah. Skinner's a local guy, and I still believe, and we can get Shamir on, and we've asked Shamir about the pressures of playing at home. Joffrey Lupul, you can probably get him on and ask him what it was like.
Yeah.
The distractions that it is. And Joffrey Lupul he didn't even grow up in Edmonton. He grew up outside of Edmonton. Can you imagine being in Edmonton now during this time? And I don't know. And
The thing is, you can't hide.
goalie's a mental position.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
So here's a question, boys.
But I think you're talking about a different situation, though, Clay. Like, I understand what you're saying about your number one, but it's not like he got yanked out of the game. They started Pickard
Correct.
straight from the get-go. So for me, I'm not saying that Skinner's not your number one. I'm saying you won with Pickard. You go with the hand that why would you change after a win like that? That's just my thing. And I don't think there should be a goalie controversy at all. Like I said, I don't think the Oilers played very well defensively in front of Skinner. Hey, it's a professional game. We're going to go with Pickard tonight.
Yeah.
They played a little bit better in front of Pickard, and let's start Pickard and see where it is. It's not like you can't just, if things go off the rails here on Thursday, it's not like you can't just put Skinner back in the net, right? So it's a good situation to have.
1,000.
So if the Oilers win 4-3 tomorrow and they outshoot them 38-18, and he lets up 3 goals, who starts the next game?
I think you just keep hiding the guy.
Pickard.
Yeah. I honestly,
what if they lose 4-3 and they outshoot them 42-21?
Then I put
4 goals on 20 shots. And you go back to Skinner.
I don't think you see Skinner the rest of the year unless it's in relief.
The year?
Yeah, I don't think you see him the rest of the year. Yeah,
I'd start him tomorrow, but whatever.
I think you go Pickard all the way through, and that's who you're like. There's now conversation that Demko's ready to play now. So what does that do for the Canucks, right? Like, he's inching much
exactly why you need your number one going in.
Yeah. So and it kind of poses, it's almost the same argument you're saying there. Like, they were talking about this on Overdrive, like, they're like on TSN Overdrive. They're just saying, like, the second the doctor, like Corey Schneider, former NHL goaltender, former Canuck, said it. The second your doctor says Demko's good to go, he's good to go. He's in net. So now I understand it's different. An injury to a player that hasn't played that good and his numbers aren't that good, but it goes to what Rupper's saying. If you really look underneath the line and look at the bigger picture and understanding the bigger game, it's defensive collapses that are getting behind him. So I know Kelly Rudy's been heavy on this. It's more body language with Skinner. When these goals are going in, it's wearing on him body language wise. So he thinks that's why. And then Elliot Friedman did some more digging, and it sounds like the body language is the reason why Skinner is not in the lineup. And it sounds like if they had 2 days between games, which they don't, it's game, day off, they were just wanted to reset Skinner for 2 games. So there could be a possibility. You're right, Vandy. He could start tomorrow night in Vancouver. So, and that might not be so shocking for a lot of people. That, we'll see. We'll see where it happens. Like,
either way, like Rob and Brody said, we're in a good position. We're good. Our goaltender isn't the reason why.
So are you not, to finish up this? Are you not? You're obviously getting Vancouver's at home. Your head coach won Stanley Cups as a head coach, as a player. Knows the game. You got Adam Foote, you got Sergei Gonchar, great coaching staff there. Not saying the Oilers have a great coaching staff. You're going to get a pushback from the Canucks, but are you somewhat worried? Like, do the Oilers have this series wrapped up regardless? Is this in the bag? Is it done? Like, are we not giving the Canucks enough credit? Are they not a good team? Are they a good team? Like,
no, nobody's. Yeah.
I'm not saying you guys are doubting. I'm just saying, like, are we?
Nobody's given the Canucks credit all year.
Yeah.
And look where they are. They finished first in the Pacific, correct?
Yep.
And it's the same thing. Oh, they're not good enough. They're not this. But look where they are. Look how they're playing. And I'm not, sorry. I keep
I'm saying you guys aren't giving them credit. Yeah.
No, I know.
But narrative out there is that way, right?
I keep cutting Brody off.
I'm not
sorry for that. But I just feel like nobody's given the Canucks any benefit of the doubt. And you know, they're playing very good hockey. They beat a very good Nashville team. That's who they played, correct?
Yeah, so they played the first.
And that was
What have you been
it
under a
Nashville?
rock?
I've been busy, man. Frick, I told you.
So is Brody.
Brody hasn't been doing nothing. Guy slept in until 10 o'clock today, for Christ's sake.
Oh God. Well, he was closed until 1 a.m.
I got
Was
a
it-
text
was
from
it-
him and Kachkowski this morning, just out of nowhere, just a group chat. He getting grilled about having cucumbers over my eyelids. I'm like, what? I didn't do anything. Got up and grabbed.
Wasn't Nashville one of the hottest teams in the second half?
Correct. Yeah.
100%.
Second most
Right,
amount of goals from the trade deadline. Second best power play from the trade deadline.
Yeah, there you go. Right. So, like, don't get me wrong. I'm not a Canucks fan. I just feel like that they have not got the respect all year that they deserve. And you know, we have all our friends that, oh, the Oilers are gonna we want the Canucks. We're gonna roll them over. We're gonna roll them over. And we are where we are. We're going into game 5. It's 2-2. And I think this series is going 7.
Yeah, and I picked the Oilers in 7. That's what I had before the series started. Closer, you were about to say something. I think you kind of got cut off there, but go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying they're dumbing them, and you are going to get the Canucks' best game tomorrow. But I have no concern that the Oilers, like, in my mind, they're going to win the series, regardless whether it goes 6 games or 7 games. They've clearly been the better team every single game. They just have, and that's a fact.
Yeah,
I do agree. I agree with you on that.
Because like last night, yeah, go ahead.
Disagree?
I don't think I think the Canucks have been the better team. Even, how can I say this better? 5-on-5, they've been the better team. 100%. How many
Canucks
5-on-5 goals?
I think
the
the problem.
Canucks.
I think. Sorry to
The
interrupt.
Canucks have been the best 5-on-5 team in this series, hands down, except for last night. Brody mentioned that. Hands down, in my opinion.
15 shots a game.
Okay, but I'm gonna.
That doesn't matter.
That's where I'm going to go to. So there's a problem right now. And I'm not the one that created this problem. It is guys that are more closer to us. The shots aren't being counted as they're in the NHL arenas right now across the NHL playoffs right now. There was a sequence last night in the Oilers Canucks game where the Canucks had 6 shots and they only got credited for 3 in that sequence, and the Bresser had 2 of them. So
yeah, that's been happening since the 80s.
100%.
It's home team shot counting.
So, but the end of the day is like what Rupper. There's everything to back what kind of Rupper's saying though. Like the other night, yes, I understand everyone wants to go. Okay, they're out shooting them. It's the other night. It was 15-2 in the shot column. It's like it's the same thing in the LA series. LA outshot Edmonton every single game, but LA is a high volume shooting team. Oilers are now being the high volume shooting team. But if you look at quality chances, slot shot chances, they're 1-1. Like last night, it was in game 3, the Oilers outshot Vancouver 15-2 in game 3. The high danger chances and the slot chances, it was 1-1. Like the shots are coming.
So if
from
the Oilers
outside,
have the puck the entire time and they're literally just sitting in their box +1, we'll call it, and they got that centerman just kind of comes out to the edge, how can we possibly say that they're being outplayed, Rupper? I don't get how they can possibly say that. Thank you.
Are you basing this off of last night? Sure, last night, I'll agree with you.
I'm basing it off the last 5 periods.
I'm basing it on the entire series.
Well, I must be watching a different game because
I wouldn't go
game 1 and 2, Vancouver owned them in the Oilers zone. They had more high quality shots. The Oilers, to me, have not. Yeah, sure, they had 42 shots. How many of those were scoring chances?
and that's my point. Is 1-1. They were like it's 1-1. Like in the
Anyways,
period.
we could debate this till the cows come home.
It's good podcasting because we agree.
It is great podcasting.
That's what I need. Like we've been very vanilla in ways of just agreeing on everything. And the 2 guys on top of the screen are the same way versus the 2 guys on the bottom of the screen. And
to answer your question, your original question before we went on a rant, Bosco.
Yeah.
No, this isn't a make or break season.
I
The
think
Oilers not. This is not cup or bust.
I think it is 100%. It is. So
So so what happens if they don't win this year? What do you do?
Sign Connor and Leon.
well, Leon's up for a contract extension July.
Connor signed, yeah, obviously.
Yeah, Connor signed for another 2
You
more.
don't. You think Leon's not going to sign here?
I'm not going down that road.
I'm not saying, yeah, and I don't want to go down that road either. And I'm not saying he's not going to. I'm not going to.
That's the easiest
that
thing to do.
stuff
That's
is-
the easiest thing to do right now. But it's like,
Listen,
because
what
the other
those
day,
two have
Connor and
done.
Leon
they
don't
brought
cost the Oilers a series. We know that. Like Brody put it in the chat. Brian Hayes, I put you guys what Brian Hayes said. Leon Draisaitl performs in the playoffs, just like Ryan O'Reilly does, just like Cale McCarr did tonight, just like Nathan McKinnon did tonight. But all these guys have won cups. At some point, this team has to win a cup. They got to get to a cup final at least. They
They're
got-
literally
Also,
winning the cup.
It was
Final,
14
right?
years before he won a cup.
we can't like that's different though, guys. Like
You got to build this around.
Yeah,
the
but
cap.
Clay, those guys. What team
we
did
got to
you
stop
just say?
doing that though. Like that's
What team did you say? Who did you say, Clay?
Ovechkin.
Okay, how many President's trophies did Ovechkin win before he won that? When's the last time we've won and absolutely dominated the league? Tell me that. This is what I'm talking about. I get it that some guys winning a Stanley Cup is
Why do you
very,
have to
very
dominate
hard.
to win the cup?
Sorry?
You just need to get into the playoffs. Why do you have to dominate the regular season to get into the cup, to win the cup?
This is what I'm saying. All I'm saying is those guys won President's trophies before they won a Stanley Cup. They lost in the first round before they won a Stanley Cup. I get it. The Oilers have done the same thing, but do you honestly see in the next 3 years them winning a Stanley Cup without, like, we've tweaked lineups, we've done this, we've done that, we brought in this guy, we brought in that guy.
7
But
head
I
coaches.
just get, yeah. Well, we've changed how many? It's got to be a world record for head coaches in this city. I just need to see this attitude, and I go back to the what I was talking about, some emotion. Like I get it, they brought in all these guys, and Connor had his pre summer skate or whatever it was, and you know they went about it this way. But man, like I want to see them. I want to feel like when I watch the Avalanche for the last 5 years, where it's just like, man, this team might be unbeatable, and I just
Rupper,
don't get
that is the Oilers, man. Minus the start since November, whatever date it was, November, whatever it is. They have like a
November 13th.
700 winning percentage. They're an
Right.
absolute wagon. They're a
Okay,
wagon.
for
And they
one
shit kicked
season.
LA. And they're
They
shit
would've-
For
kicking
one
Vancouver.
season,
They would
I wanna
have
see-
speed bagged Vancouver for the Pacific title.
if this was happening for the last 4 years, I could stomach it a little bit more.
Yeah.
But we go back to the same thing. It's the same revolving door.
The Alberta
we
5 right
perform-
now.
Sorry, well, whatever.
You have the Alberta
I don't
5. You
even
have Ekholm, Bouchard, Draisaitl, Hyman, and McDavid. That's the Alberta 5. You had Detroit. You had
Edmonton
the
5. The Edmonton 5.
I don't know. Like I said, I don't want to go off on a.
No, I like the
Sweet.
tangents. Like I'm
90
the same
degrees.
way. It's just the same thing. Like Phil Stockley, who used to be on our podcast, he started his own called the Cheap Seats with Jimmy Ward. They want to come on with us. They want to do a big roundtable with us.
And Bosco, you can attest to this being a Leafs fan. I'm sorry, like it's the same.
Oh,
thing
I agree.
happening
Like the
year
Leafs,
over
but
year
the Leafs have
over
never
year
won it
over year.
besides the Canadian division. That's the only time the Leafs ever won a division. They've never, but you know, it's been the same. It's the same thing every year, but it's the same narrative. It's like, okay, like everyone wants to shit on the defense. The defense still holds up in the Leafs series. The goaltending, whatever, who's in net, still somewhat holds up in the Leafs series. It's not like they're getting killed 8-1 every night. You know, they're losing 1-goal games. It's just they're like I put in the group chat. Mitch Marner has 1 playoff goal in 57 playoff games. Like Wyatt Johnson is outperforming Mitchell Marner in the playoffs. And look at like Wyatt Johnson has more goals through his playoff career than Mitch Marner does right now. Like it's just
I couldn't handle.
Yeah,
I couldn't
I'm just
handle
saying,
Mitch.
like,
I know what you're saying, and I was I liked Mitch Marner more than I liked Austin Matthews up until this season.
Mhm.
And when he had his little temper tantrum, throwing his gloves and things like that.
We'll get into that.
It was
segment. Yeah. We'll get into that
whatever. We can get into that another podcast.
Okay.
But
We're getting off track. We're getting off topic here.
We're way off track.
I want to
don't
go
care.
back to this though. Yeah, with this.
I got a fruit fly. I got a fruit fly in my room.
Oh no.
I don't even have fruit in here.
Anyway, so
You're in there,
my
Rupper. What are
point
you
is like
talking about?
Phil Stockley made a good thing, and I don't know if this is in the same conversation, but it's just like we just saw what Nathan McKinnon and Mikhail Makar and that Colorado team tonight. Their team was on the ropes. They're down. They're it's a tough building in Dallas. Dallas has been really good all year. They pulled it out. Lekkonen's been good in the playoffs for them. So their players showed up. They were obviously shocked that Nichushkin, and we'll get into that but they were shocked at that. It's just, but at the end of the day, it's like they were able to win. It's like at some point, I think Leon and Connor and these guys have to win it. It's not two players, it's a team. I get it. But it's like they've not even been close, guys. Like this organization has not even been close. They got waxed against the Avalanche a couple years ago. But we talk about this team like they've won 5 Stanley Cups, and Connor and Leon won Conn Smythe, and it's like they haven't even been close. They haven't sniffed it yet.
Hey,
Rupper's point is these other teams have at least gone there. They've sniffed it. They've won it.
Rudy, this is why Bosco wanted Rupp on the pod.
Fuck.
I didn't know Rupper.
Listen,
Bosco,
Bosco, it's a marathon, not a sprint, my man. If Connor McDavid leaves Edmonton with 1 cup, he did his job.
What's the marathon as a fan base? 10, 12 years?
You got to be
To
patient.
me.
Like
We're
Phil
there.
Stockley said. Like Phil
You're
Stockley
there.
said it. Like
You guys,
you guys know Phil.
it's
Phil
so
said it
hard
the
to
best.
win.
He's like, it must be tough to be a Northern fan because when you lose, you're rebuilding. When you win, you want the Stanley Cup for Northern fans. And we're seeing it online. Like,
Listen, you're watching Ryan McLeod, who, is obviously, would you agree or disagree, is not our top prospect?
Yeah, he's up there. Yeah.
Whatever, right? You're watching him learn how to play in the playoffs, and he's not doing it. And that's why I think Sam Garrick should be in tomorrow. Derek Ryan maybe play wing or whatever. I think he should watch from the press box and learn what it takes to play in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Because, I mean, I hate doing this, but I tell my U11 kids, U13 kids, playoffs are a different animal. Whether they are at that age or not, I want to prepare them that playoffs is a different animal, dude. Like, everything is heightened. You take a shot, you're getting hit. Regular season, you're not doing that.
The thing I think
you make a pass, you get hit.
Corners. Sorry, Clay, go ahead.
No, you keep going, dude.
These two idiots there, bottom left and top right. Our GM was right. Remember 2 years ago, he said, they're not ready. We're not going all in. They've been building and building and building. And now this is the best team that has been on the ice in probably since 2006. Like, legitimately. They have depth up front. Sure, they're not getting points, but they don't need to get points right now. They're still winning and winning. I know it's 2-2, but I mean, they're playing well. They don't have an unbelievable goalie, or they're missing this or that. Everybody's missing something.
different series if Demko's in it. I don't even think it's a question. I think it's 3-1 Canucks if Demko's in it.
Why? We have the puck the whole time.
Doesn't matter. You have a Vezina goaltender on the other end that makes a big difference. And this goaltender is somewhat of
Go to Winnipeg.
Yeah, how'd that work out? My point is that this is the best team since 2006. They added Corey Perry, right? They've added, and they're actually ready to compete for the Stanley Cup. And they're doing it, and they're going to do it. That's what's happening, Rupper. Okay?
I think
so get on board.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not on board yet. It's going to be tough to get on
Okay,
board.
well,
yeah. Like,
we're not inviting you on board until
when you're ready.
At the end of the day, I agree. Right? Generational players like Connor and Leon do win Stanley Cups, and they do win them in their markets. Like, that's what I mean. Like, if they don't win this year, it's bust. Like, there's a big problem. Like, you're gonna have it. We already know they're gonna have a new general manager next year. Ken Holland's not coming back. So
if they don't win, they'll do it again next year. There'll be another contender to win again next year.
Right.
So. Well, and we'll see. Like, you don't think Vegas is going to have any say in like wanting to be better after what happened?
Sure, there's 30-some teams, man. It's hard to win.
32. It is.
The Oilers will still be a wagon there.
But they gotta get there. They gotta get to a conference final or a Stanley Cup final. They
will
can win something.
They've been to a conference final.
Yeah, but they didn't win. They got waxed. Colorado just waxed them in 4. Connor McDavid's been swept twice in his playoff career.
They weren't ready against Colorado. They weren't good enough, and they weren't ready. That's them losing in 4 is one of the reasons they're going to be better this year.
Okay, but what if Vancouver wins this series though? They still have.
Then it's a huge disappointment, and they go try again, and they're still going to be awesome next year and have the opportunity.
And we find players to plug and play.
Yeah.
I hope you guys.
Let's not
are
forget
right.
Go ahead, bro.
I said I hope you guys are right because I don't want to be in a wheelchair with osteoporosis and sawdust coming out of my nuts, and us sitting around talking on this podcast about woulda, coulda, shoulda, and we're close, and it's because I don't have the mental capacity for it.
Yeah,
that's fair, Rupper.
It's a very fair point. So at the end of the day, it's like even my buddy Joe, I was talking to him today. I know it was somewhat off topic, but he's just like, he's at work talking about like what Colorado's up against tonight. Like he's working, they're just talking about Colorado, and this is somewhat of a slight shot against other fans, but it's the same as Canuck fans too. But he's just talking Colorado, big game tonight. You know, Nathan McKinnon's got to step up, and like these 2 other fans that he works with just come in there like, whoa, what about Connor McDavid? He's the best player in the world. Like he's talking about Nathan McKinnon. He's not talking about Connor McDavid. He's talking about like Nathan McKinnon. He's wanted. He's done it. He's gone there. Like, and the biggest thing that I would say differently between what's in Toronto to what's like we saw when Nathan McKinnon the year before they won the Stanley Cup, he was pissed. Like he's like, I haven't done anything yet in this league. I haven't done nothing. And what did he do the next year? He went out and won a Stanley Cup. You have not heard that from those 4 core in Toronto. They've never, Marner, Matthews, Nylander, Tavares have never stood in front of that microphone at the end of the year and said, I'm pissed with this. This is unacceptable. I hate this. We need to win a Stanley Cup. It is very unacceptable. That has not happened in Toronto. It happened last year in Edmonton. Connor and Leon did it. They did it in Game 6 when they lost against Vegas in the second round. So they have said it. Like I give them credit. Like Connor and Leon aren't accepting failure right now. They're demanding the best. But they
how good they're going to be tomorrow.
They cannot do it on their own. So it makes a good game 5, right? So anyways,
they're going to be unbelievable tomorrow. They will be.
They always are unbelievable though, Brody. Like when are they not unbelievable? Like that's not the conversation.
Not in the playoffs.
I'm never saying they never show up. They don't. It's not like Connor got held pointless in Game 3. That's a rare occasion. Like guy often points up points, and they dominate on the power play. Like you got hockey Hall of Famers or great players on that bench in Colorado or Vancouver that are saying this is the best power play they've ever seen in the history of the game. And these guys have been around some of the greatest players of our generation. And they're saying
that's another reason number 472 are they going to win this series.
So, and we'll see. Like if they don't, then it'll be interesting to see what happens if they don't win it. But I don't think at the end of the day, I don't think they stand a chance against Colorado or Dallas when they get there. I think it's a different animal. You know, and there's no conversation.
Did you watch the Dallas game?
But look,
Colorado got lucky tonight.
Did you watch it?
Yeah, Dallas. To me, Dallas handled that game. It just there was a couple bad breaks, and I think that folded Dallas. Middlestad goal, obviously the one late in the second, but Dallas they're 100% going to win that series in 6.
And it's been look at they're hurt right now. They're banged up, right? Hintz is out. And that's another thing you look at Edmonton. There's been no injuries all year. The Oilers have had the least amount of man games lost. That's a good thing to have. They have not faced adversity with injuries this year. So, you know, like all these other teams are, you know, Tanev's banged up, but he's playing. Like everyone plays through injuries, but you know, when guys aren't even playing, like Hintz, like that guy's a difference maker for them, right? So but anyways, yeah, let's translate over to some of the stuff that happened with and Brody just throwing jabs in at every chance he can. So
well, that's not that was just a funny video I sent.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, let's move over to you know, kind of the comments that Adam Oates had. You guys did you guys hear them or no?
I did, yeah.
Have you Vandy listened to them or heard them yet or no?
Yeah, I listened to the podcast today.
And Rupper?
No.
Okay.
Well, Neil, first of all, you don't play against everybody's best. You play against everybody's second best. Let's get that straight. Number two, he was mad at Matthews for a bad turnover at the blue line. That's what he's mad at. And he's also mad and he threw his gloves. Why? Because he knows tomorrow in the paper, they're going to blame him. Like the power play was 1 for 20. If they're 5 for 20, they'd still be playing right now. And he'd have 3 more points, 4 more points. They wouldn't be complaining right now, would they? So therefore, now you look at the power play. Of course. Well, that's 2 units, 10 guys and 1 coach, right? And the head coach. So like it's never one guy. And I feel bad for him because he's in that market. Mm-hmm. Right? That makes it very difficult. And then the winning goal, Pasternak's goal, they're blaming him. And it's like, if anybody knows anything about hockey, they were in a neutral zone regroup. So the F1 changed. He jumped over for F1. Pasternak's not his responsibility at all.
So obviously, pretty good comment from Adam Oates. You know, I was watching Overdrive today. They played the same thing that we just played. And this is courtesy of the Cam and Strick podcast, Strickland and Cam Jansen. My take would be agree with what Jeff O'Neill, Brian Hayes, and Noodle said. This information was fed to Adam Oates to kind of defend Mitch Marner. Would you guys come out on that statement too, Rupper?
I don't even have an opinion on it. I mean, here we're sitting here analyzing, you know, how that goal got scored. Why aren't we saying what an awesome play by Boston that they recognize I'm going to dump this puck in and Pasta's going to pick this thing up? Like, you could go either way, dude. And I just think it was a great play by Boston and a great read by Pasternak to pick that puck up. And whether it was Mitch Marner, whoever people think that should have come off the bench and picked that guy up, it ain't gonna happen. You could replay that play 500 times, and I think Pasternak's gonna get that puck 499 times. And it was a great play and a great read.
Closer.
Rupper's right, man. It was a wicked play by Boston. It just was, and we should be enjoying that. But if you're going back to Adam Oates, number one, he was my favorite player of all time. I'm just saying. Mm-hmm. And a buddy of mine has his signed hockey stick in his house and refuses to give it to me, so he's an asshole. But
give Brody the goddamn stick.
I know, right? He isn't wrong though. Marner gets picked on because he's Marner, and nobody's picking on Austin Matthews. Everybody loves Willie Styles because he's a cool cat, and Tavares is old, so he's the scapegoat every single year. But that being said, he also doesn't do much, in my opinion, other than gets a point here and there. I mean, he doesn't check. He's not hard to play against. If he's not scoring, what's he doing? In my opinion. And I remember Rob Brown saying that. He said one of the coaches told me once, hey, we're playing 82 games. If you get 40 goals, that's fantastic. But what are you doing for me the other 42 games? You got to be able to do something. I'm like, that's a really good point. And he doesn't do that other something, right? He doesn't do anything other than provide offense.
Now, Vandy, you listen to the entire podcast. Your thoughts on this whole situation too?
Yeah, no, like I say, the confidence that Adam Oates speaks, I was ready to ship both my kids out to his camp and wait for them to get turned away. But yeah, and you got to think, I mean, when a guy like that talks and speaks, forget the Hockey Hall of Fame credentials and all that and what he's done and what we watched as young guys growing up with him and Brett Hall and when he was an Oiler, and look what he's done to Kucherov, and he point blank tells you, he goes, I don't tell him anything. Mm-hmm. I give him maybe a hint, but then Kuch will go and work on it for 15, 20 minutes, half an hour, and then I'll come back, they'll both wink at each other and you good? Yep. That's it.
You guys think Mitch Marner or his representatives fed Adam Oates some information on that? Because it kind of seemed like it was pretty personal, like him really going out of a limb to defend him, or you think that
maybe works for him?
Yeah, they haven't been able to see that. A lot of his stuff keeps private though, like unless players openly say it, but he doesn't.
And rightfully
He
so.
doesn't
I
come-
do that too, right? Yeah, who knows? But
Yeah.
I
think the
mean,
problem is like one of the clips there is like, that he threw the gloves down, and the fact that like how the conversation happened or whatever, the damning part to me was just like Mitch Marner was worried about what the media was going to say tomorrow because he threw his gloves on the floor. I thought that was kind of weird. Like,
Well, that doesn't mean he meant.
why do you care what the media says? Like during Marner's 8 years with the Leafs, he's been very awkward in media. Him and the media don't gel well together. He's a very awkward.
Mitch Marner's been a golden child since he was 13 years old.
Oh, I know that, but he's not been media trained like Tavares has or anything. Like, to come out and say it's kind of a weird comment. You just got eliminated in 7. You really didn't do nothing in the playoffs, and you want to say you treated like gods in Toronto. It's kind of a weird comment to make. Like, I don't like everyone knows you are treated like gods, but like, you had 1 block shot, you had 6 hits, and you only had 3 points in 7 games. Like, it's like it was his worst playoff performance to date. Like, he was a point per game player up until that season, this past playoffs. But yeah. So, anyways, we'll see what happens. Obviously, that press conference was a couple weeks ago, and we'll see what happened. They still haven't hired a head coach. It sounds like it was Craig Berube. Now it sounds like people are doing investigations on Craig Berube. So I don't know what's going on with that. It's kind of weird. Guys want to Stanley Cup, so I don't know why you would do investigations on him. But anyways, we'll see what happens there. There's a lot of still coaching vacancies in the National Hockey League right now, and it's funny. We talked about Todd. Yeah. They're doing investigations.
Who is?
The Leafs and other organizations on Craig Berube, according to Elliot Friedman and Darren Dreger on their podcast. So they're
investigations for what?
No idea. They just said they're doing investigations, and that's kind of where it's left at right now. So I'm not too sure what's going on with that. So
swearing it, guys, probably.
Yeah.
2024. How about the guy in the OHL? 6-game suspension for calling a guy a pussy.
Right?
Fuck.
Yeah. Yeah. That was.
Sorry, that's random.
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah, so definitely a lot going on in that aspect. We've been going on pretty long here, so we won't go on any longer. I do want to get your guys' thoughts on obviously a good story, but I will say we did talk about Todd Nelson last episode. Good note that Todd Nelson will be interviewed in Winnipeg once his season's done in the American Hockey League. So
nice.
So good to hear that he will get at least a head coach.
How do you know that?
Elliot Friedman told me that, and Elliot Friedman told me that I said that also on his podcast too. So I sent that text to Friedman. He said he is a candidate on the. So maybe Fids and us kind of pushing it out there maybe have helped it. I don't know. We'll take the credit anyways, but no. Anyways, he's got 406 wins in the American Hockey League and 2 championships, and he's looking to get his 3rd. So the guy's got a resume. A person that you very well too, in Drew Blair Brule, Vandy is spoke very highly of him too. He posted a comment on that, and Brew is a good guy. We have to get him back on. But
Hideaway Creek.
Yes, check it out. It is quite the place in Roberts Creek, British Columbia. Good note, guys. First, the Bill Masterson Trophy was awarded today. I wish it was better. I wish it was back like the NHL awards, but with the condensed schedule and everything, it can't. But Connor Ingram of the Arizona Coyotes / Utah Hockey Club is the winner of the Bill Masterson Trophy. Rupper, I get your thoughts on this first, and kind of finish out with Closer and Brody, Closer and Vandy at the end. But this is the first player in the National Hockey League to win this award under the criteria of OCD and mental health. Connor's been very spoke very highly and spoke openly about his situation with mental health and how this is good for also the games. We did have a long depth conversation with Matt and Alex on Mind Buffs that will drop on Friday's podcast. So that they dove into it, but get your thoughts here quickly, Rupper.
You know what? It's just a step forward, and congratulations to Ingram. And I feel that, I think a lot of these guys, not just him, but I would venture, and I don't want to put a number on it, but there's a high percentage of these guys that probably have some sort of OCD or ADHD or I feel like we all have that, to be quite honest with you, whether it's, me with my lawn or, whoever. But for them to come forward and speak on it, and mental health is such a big thing in society today, whether it's sports or life or work, that, we got to get it out more in the open, and the NHL kind of acknowledging this is just a step in the right direction.
Closer.
Ditto.
Yeah.
It's the truth. Rupper's bang on. Not going to repeat what he just said, but he's correct.
Vandy, good.
Again.
Vandy, definitely some good Mutts bark here for Connor Ingram, isn't it? Oh, Vandy froze up, so we lost him. So, I'm sure everyone would agree with Rupper, and I agree too. You very well said. We'll finish up on that, guys.
Hey, one thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
One thing before I leave. And I know you guys probably talked about this before. I just want to send my congratulations to the McIntyre family and Ozzy for getting drafted to Spokane. There's no doubt in my mind that this kid's going to do great things going into the future. And I just want to tip my cap to the McIntyre family.
Right on. As they do in the locker rooms. I don't know how to do it really well, but
clicks for Ozzy and the McIntyres.
Yeah, Mutts, barks, stick taps, and claps. Vandy's back with us. Vandy, you want to give a quick Mutts bark to Connor Ingram here? And obviously what Rupper had said too. I know you were kind of speaking about it before, but I guess a good little stick tap to the McIntyre.
Yeah,
and the Ruppers, and the Ruppers,
and the Ruppers, and the Harveys, and the Pisanis.
Oh, the Caps.
Yeah.
Hey, let's do it to every family.
Go ahead, Vandy.
No, all good, man. Yeah, it's a struggle that I think every one of us have experienced one way or another. And the OCD is now coming to light. Those who follow me on Twitter or Instagram know that I have other feelings about why ADHD and OCD and all that other stuff is comes to light. But anyway, good for him. It to overcome all that and become a goalie. I think in some way or another, goalies are pattern people. They're right. They're I don't know they're structured people, if you will. So, for him to do, and look, he's going to go to Utah, and if we're not, he's probably going to be their go-to guy, and good for him. So, I hate how these awards are getting.
Yeah, you were saying that.
This is bullshit. Yeah. This is absolute. This is awful.
Like nothing. I didn't even know about it until I saw a random tweet.
Well, I was watching ESPN last night, and I'm like, "What the fuck?" The scheduled awards and like the heart and all that. And I'm like, I thought the awards were going to be in that fucking gay bubble thing in Vegas.
The Sphere, yeah.
Yeah. And no, even Nicole told me, my wife told me, she's like, no, I think they're announcing them, and that's just going to be some, like, I don't know, hologram or whatever. I don't know what it's going to be.
Oh, they're announcing them every day. That's how they're doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the awards.
Jacob Trouba won the Mark Messier Leadership Award yesterday, and so like every day there would be a new announcement of who wins it. Like once hockey.
And like, come on, is Jacob Trouba really the best leader in the NHL right now?
Yeah, the players voted for him to be here, I guess.
Fuck that shit. Jamie Benn.
Jamie Benn's he's hard to bet against for sure. So
Anyway, whatever.
All right. Okay, let's finish up on that. Another great episode, and huge thanks to Madison for joining us. It was really awesome to have her a part of our
Listen,
today.
Oiler and Vancouver fans want to see Oilers Dallas.
That would be unbelievable.
Madison Nat G.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good one. Rupper, always a pleasure when you join us. So looking forward to it again, and hopefully clear out that whatever you had in your room. I mean, it's nice and clean. So, but
Cheer up,
cheers,
Cheer up,
guys.
Tash.